Welcome back to Brassionomics. Aubrey Cohen is back with us from the Seattle PI. Aubrey, you know, we're talking real estate, which we always do when you're here, and we love to. You know, Sam had actually brought up headlines, and I think that is kind of a perfect segue into the article you just wrote, that the low home supply isn't helping prices. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you've got quite low home supply by general standards here. You look at the market right now, and, you know, we're at like 4 months of inventory. If you do a rough calculation, divide the number of homes on the market by how many homes are selling each month, and generally that's like half of what you'd consider to be a balanced market. Those numbers would generally indicate that it's a seller's market, but prices continue to go down. The most recent statistics we got from the MLS is that homes were down another 11% year over year in January. So we say, okay, well, what's going on? And what's going on is a lot of the homes on the market are distressed homes. They're homes that have gone through foreclosure, homes that are under threat of foreclosure, and those are selling at a discount. They're not necessarily in the same kind of shape as other homes, as Sam was talking about. Also, a lot of the people who are buying those homes are investors, and they're going to hold out for a deal. And a lot of the people who own the nicer homes are holding those homes off the market because they don't want to compete against those distressed homes.
And you would even actually mention some people won't buy at all because they actually can't find the home they like.
Well, yeah, I mean, people who are out there and can buy a home right now
and are looking.
You know, there was a time during the boom when people would buy any home that would suit their needs because the prices were going up so fast. They thought, I just got to buy something. Well, with home prices falling and people not being sure if the home that they buy is going to be worth as much as they paid 6 months from now, you know, if they're going to buy a home, they want it to be perfect. So you have the situation where when a really nice home comes on the market, that can sell really fast. And a lot of people will not buy anything that's not exactly what they want. And so they'll just wait and sit on the sidelines.
So what do these trends kind of start pointing to? Because we've talked about this. We've kind of talked about the numbers and, you know, bringing your mind into them. What does this start to predict a little bit? Well,
you know, eventually...
Crystal ball time, Aubrey.
Eventually, you would think that low inventory would start to tip the balance and prices would start to come up again. It's supply and demand. The problem is that you've got a bunch of... you've got the shadow inventory. We've talked about this before. Not only do lenders have a bunch of homes out there... the latest figures we have, there's about 76,000 homes in Washington state where people are seriously delinquent on their mortgages. That's a huge pool of potential homes that could hit the market. And then you also have a bunch of people.
No, let's not just skip that number.
Okay.
76,000 homes are seriously delinquent on their mortgage.
In Washington state, at least 90 days past due on their payments, yes.
And there's only 5,000 foreclosures a quarter. So, I mean,
yeah, at that rate, it would, you know,
that's shadow inventory if I've ever heard of it. I mean, you're
4
talking
years, 4 years to work through that inventory. That's a frightening prospect, is that we could be sitting here with this huge weight of foreclosure homes for 4 years.
In 2016 or 17, we're still trying to say, hey, do you guys think we've hit the bottom? I don't know.
You hope that once things start to pick up, we could start to move through that inventory faster, that maybe not all of those homes will actually go through foreclosure or get sold as distressed properties. But yeah, I mean, that's a threat that's out there on the market. And not only that, but you have a bunch of people who would like to sell their homes, but don't want to compete against all these foreclosure homes that are already on the market. So once there's a sign that things have started to pick up, they'll put their homes on the market. So I think, you know, getting back to your question, well, what's going to happen? I think there are a bunch of people out there who are a little nervous about buying while prices are going down. You know, we've said, hey, interest rates are at record lows, affordability is at record lows.
Yeah, your other article. I mean, the affordability is the best it's pretty much ever been.
But the problem is that interest rates have been at record lows for like a year now.
And every month I go, oh, guess what? We've hit record lows again. And we're doing the same song and dance.
Right. And prices keep going down. So people feel like, hey, I can afford to wait until I see some really hard, convincing sign that things are on their way up. So you say, okay, well, what happens when that starts to happen? Prices start to go up convincingly and not just a little blip because we've had these little fake jumps. Well, maybe we have a bunch of buyers coming on the market, but then we also probably have a bunch of sellers coming on the market. People have been holding their homes out and they say, hey, prices are going back up. I can afford to sell now. And then we have the foreclosure inventory. So,
people still need a place to live. I remember going back to when, hey, there can't be a real estate bubble. I listen to pretty smart people talk about how it couldn't because people still needed a place to live. Everybody can't sell their house. I mean, somebody's got to move in. Where does everybody start going?
Well, people are, living with roommates. They're living with their parents. And there's the rental market. And the good news for the for sale market, I suppose, has been that rents have gone up. Vacancies have gone down. But on the other hand, there are people building a whole bunch of apartment buildings in the area right now. And there already have been predictions that we're heading towards a glut of apartments. So that's going to make rentals appear even more attractive compared to
It's like we're a bunch of nomads. There's no roots anymore. I mean, everybody, I'll go from my house that I can't afford to an apartment that's going to go up, and I actually won't be able to afford that either.
Well, I think one of the products of the real estate bust has been that the romance has gone out of buying a home to a certain degree. People used to think, well, renting's okay, but you got to buy your home at some point, And now people think, renting has become a legitimate long-term lifestyle choice in Seattle. It always has been in, New York and London or wherever, but in the Seattle area, that's become a legitimate thing to do.
Well, I'm glad you bring up romance the day before Valentine's Day here. You have an article coming out soon on the romance of house, or a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. The folks over at Trulia sent me this the results of the survey that they did, and some differences between men and women in what they look for in a house and what they look for in a potential special person's living situation. So one of the things I found interesting is that in general, there's some things that are the same when they're looking at a house. Men and women, it turns out, they both like a master bathroom. And they both like walk-in closets, but women like walk-in closets a whole lot more. There's a big extra boost that women give to walk-in closets. Men have a big edge over women in how much they like an entertainment room, a home theater. It sort of fits what you think of as the stereotypes. The thing I found really interesting was women and men could pick a bunch of choices. So you could have a bunch of different options that all have really high percentages. Well, you add up all those percentages for men and percentages for women, and women like a lot more stuff. Women say, my home's got to have a walk-in closet, it's got to have a master bath, it's got to have a porch, it's got to have this. The men are like, I don't know.
Aubrey, we have to go to break, but I think everybody knows women like more stuff. When we come back, Heather Moore is going to join us. Everybody's coming back, and we're going to give you a little bit more crystal ball talk about what may happen in the real estate market. That was Aubrey Cohen from the Seattle PI. I'm Ben Brash, and you're listening to Brashonomics.